My interview guest today is Rachel, who is a student of the Fiction Profits Academy program, and she first took the program a couple years ago, and about almost a year ago, she wrote me a message saying that she is going to be one of my success story videos. And at that point, she wasn't having the level of success she's having now. She'll tell you all about it, but she told me she was going to be on this video, and here she is a year later. So I'm so excited to jump into the conversation here with her. And also, before we jump in, I want to remind you that I do have a free training called the Book Idea to Bestseller Blueprint. So be sure to go down into the link below the video, into the description, and click on the link and get my blueprint, because it's super detailed training. You get it through email, and I think it's really going to help you out. So let's dive in with Rachel. Hey, Rachel.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good, good. It's nice to talk to you today. Let's just jump right into it. So if we look back to a couple of years ago, right when you were getting into publishing, what did your life look like then? And what was your motivation and inspiration to start to get into ebook publishing?
So a few years ago, I feel like I was kind of at a pretty low point, like personally and also professionally. I was working in a job. I was going on my 6th year of working for a company that I promised I was only going to stay at for 2 years. And it was soul sucking, I won't lie. I just felt very hopeless. I think that's a really good word to describe it. It was just, constant stress, 9 to 5, but more like, a 14-hour work day. Really just not, not sleeping, not taking care of myself, just being really stressed out and just feeling like, is this as good as it gets? I felt very unfulfilled in my job and very unhappy. And, I just knew that there had to be something else out there and something better. And I kind of hit like a low point in my personal life. And that's when I stumbled upon one of your YouTube videos. And, it's crazy, but it felt like in that moment, I'd seen a lot of other opportunities out there, like work from home and make a career for yourself. But this one just clicked. It literally was like the light came on and doves flew out. I love writing and literature. And so it was just a perfect opportunity for me. And it was like this pivotal moment in my life that I was like, okay, this is a lot of money for me, but I have to invest in myself because, hey, it's never just going to fall in my lap. So I just said, I'm going to do it. And so I think the big catalyst for me, like my why, was that feeling of just like being so indebted to a company, because I knew that in order for me to actually make the kind of money that would give me financial freedom and independence, I would have to invest like 20 years in corporate America. And it was just, I was promoted 3 times in 5.5 years, and it was like barely a pay raise every time. And there was always some reason why. And it just felt like I was, trading my time for so little money. And it was, to be honest, it just felt like I was in a hole, and I just was ready. I was like, there has to be something better than this. And at the time I thought I was going to go to law school. That's what I had done for undergrad. I was preparing, but my heart wasn't in it. And I thought, I need something that I'm going to be passionate about and that I'm going to love to do. And that it's going to be fulfilling. And like I said, I stumbled upon your video and I was like, I'm going to do it. And I actually bought it, and then I waited a few months to get started. But then, like, as soon as I dove into it,
yes,
I just went, both feet, just jumped right in. Yeah.
Yes, and once you started, like, you were so persistent and you didn't stop. Like, I think it was almost a year ago that we did a 1-month intensive together. Like you were, we did a kind of like a one-on-one coaching intensive for 1 month, which I don't do anymore. Don't do any one-on-one. But you were just so determined and persistent to make it work, because at that point you were not having anything close to the success that you're having now. Like, it was very minimal, and you're just kind of like figuring stuff out, right? So it's amazing in a matter of, well, we'll talk about more about your story, but like even within a half a year from that point, the growth you had, right? So cool. All right. So next question. Well, actually, why don't we just talk about what has happened in since you began your journey? So what did what did it look like timeline wise? Your results more recently, like this year, what does that look like? Like, do you want to give us a little bit of idea?
Sure. So, like you said, when I first started out, I'll admit I did not implement everything that I should have and that you teach us. I was just so excited to publish a book because that's something on my bucket list that I was like, oh my goodness, this is how I do it. I'm just going to do it. And I did not write to market, and I didn't have an editor, and I didn't have a cover designer. I just was so excited to do it. I just did it. And, I remember I bring this up to my sister all the time. I'm like, do you remember when I would like show her my dashboard and be like, I was using book report at the time, and I would be like, oh my gosh, I've made it to $25. I've made $25 off of something I wrote.
I
And just
love
like
that.
little things like that. And
Yeah.
I like that you use the word persistent because I felt like such a nag. I know that I was bugging you and other authors in the group so much, just so many questions. But I remember sitting down on my couch and telling my sister, I said, this is it. I'm going to be successful at this. I'm going to do it.
Love it.
And it was like at first it was growing very, very small. I didn't do any advertising. It was all just like swaps and things. And my books were not in a series. And so it was just like, oh, I finally get to the point where I make $100 in a month. And I was so thrilled. And that went on for several months. And then it wasn't until I was a full year into it, I believe, I tried Facebook ads, and I saw I went from like making $560 a month to 2,400. And I was like, oh, okay, there's
There it
potential.
is. Yeah.
And then, it was like ebb and flow because I was testing and trying. I didn't know what I was doing. And then it was like my income kind of dropped back down. And right before you and I did like our 30 days, it was like I was earning like 1,200 bucks a month. And I just didn't understand. I was like, I feel like I'm putting my heart and soul into this. I'm trying my hardest. And then I kind of just had this moment where I went all the way back through your program and saw the little things that matter so much that I overlooked, like having a graphic designer do your cover if you're not good at Photoshop or whatever, and I am not by any means. Hiring an editor, having writing to market and having multiple, like all these things that were just so important. So I took like 3 months and put so much money into my business, and it was scary. That was my savings and so much of my time, and just kind of like halted on the publishing to basically redo my backlist, reassess, and study the top 100 until my eyes bled,
Yeah.
And then we did our 30 days, and I'll never forget because I believe it was like December is when we did it.
Yep.
And that month I had only earned $1,100, and I was like just feeling really down.
Mm.
And then I remember telling you, I said, I want to make $10,000 by the end of March. And you were like, you can do it. And I had a little bit of doubt, but I was like, I'm going to do it. And sure enough, like, in January, things started to turn around, and I made a little bit more money. I made like 1,300. And then February it was like 5,600. And then March it was $9,990.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. I
And
love
I was
it.
like $10 short. But literally after that,
Yeah.
every month it was like 10,000, 12,000, 14,000. And my goal for the year was to end at 20,000 a month. And I literally just almost hit that this month. Like I just was
You
a
mean
little
for October?
yes.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt that, next
Mhm.
month, this month, November, I'm going to surpass that. So
So
it,
awesome.
yeah, it almost scared me at first because I was like, oh no, I put it out in
Sure.
the universe that I wanted the success, and now I'm having it. What do I
Yeah.
do with it?
All of a sudden, yeah, because then your story changes. That story of who you are, essentially,
Right.
right? And it can be kind of scary. And sometimes, I don't know, it's if you haven't taken the time to like develop mindset and be like really grounded in that, and sometimes when someone starts to get a little bit of success is when the self-sabotage starts to come in,
Yes.
and so it's just being mindful to like keep going and like stay consistent in what you're doing, even if there's that stuff coming up that sometimes your ego wants you to stay exactly as you are and wants to like halt your growth. So that's awesome. You stayed so consistent. And just to give an idea, like how many books do you publish in a month?
I published one. I've
Yeah.
only missed 1 month. I didn't publish in June of this year. But other than that, I publish one a month, and that's what I could do more, and I've considered it, but I think I like the pace of one.
Yeah.
I feel like it gives me time to kind of um, get everyone excited about this one story and everything.
Mhm.
So
That's
it's been
awesome.
working well for me for that.
That's
Yeah,
so
with
great.
just one pen name.
Perfect. That's so awesome. Um, then my next question was completely answered by everything we just talked about. So I was gonna ask what your path to earning this income look like.
Hmm.
But as you're going through this process over the past couple of years, what were the challenges that came up along the way that you had to overcome or kind of like persevere through to stay consistent? Because what I see is the people who are like you, who get to the place where you're making $20,000 a month, 5 figures per month, it's because they stayed persistent and they didn't give up. Because everyone, when they're starting this process, comes across some kind of obstacles, right? And so it's whether or not you decide to keep going or give up. So anyhow, what were some of the challenges and obstacles you had?
All of them.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I used to look at some authors I would see that would do like 0 to 10,000 in 2 or 3 months, and I was so jealous because I was like, I want that, but I felt like I fell on my face so many times on this journey that it really helped me, for one, be super appreciative and understand the work that went into it. It's not like I had overnight success and I didn't understand why. I know why. I put the blood, sweat, and tears into this. But I think you're right, like being consistent, because I can specifically remember right before things like turned around for me, I was just at a point where I felt so anxious. I was putting so much time and so much money and like all of my heart and soul into this. And I remember my sister saying, maybe you just need to step back. Like you're letting the stress get to you so much. And I told her, I said, I'm at a tipping point and I can feel it and it's
Yes.
about to change. And I wanted to give up so many times because it just felt like, what am I doing? I'm spending all this money. I'm spending all this time. And I felt like I had to learn the hard way, in the sense that I got overzealous and excited, and I didn't put into practice some of the things, like writing in a series or just writing to
Hmm.
market and being mindful of that stuff. And once I started doing that and I just took those 3 months, I feel like things, changed, and my mindset was an obstacle for me for a while. Like I had
Hmm.
this kind of like a fraud syndrome where I felt like,
Oh,
okay,
yes.
I don't deserve this success. I don't deserve things to be going so well, especially if I'm not working 14 hours a day on it or something.
Yes. Hmm.
And, I spend a lot of money, a lot of trial and error, but at the same time, like I actually mean it when I say, like, if I could have overnight success, I wouldn't take it, because
Yep.
I feel like I appreciate this journey so much more, and what I've been able to build for myself. And it's honestly given me a sense of pride. And it's so cool to look at that and be like, I've done that for myself.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
yeah.
Oh, that's so great. Um, Something you were saying that really resonated with me, and there were so many things, but what was the one thing I was going to elaborate on? I don't remember what it is. It'll come back to me. But one thing I wanted to ask you, you said writing in a series, of course, has been really important for you. Just to clarify, are your series cliffhangers or standalones?
No, I did a cliffhanger, got ripped apart. Never do that again.
Yes.
So
Okay.
yes, now they are all standalone. They're interconnected
Yes,
by like the
of
characters,
course.
but no,
Hmm.
I will never do a cliffhanger again.
Yeah, that's been like my experience and with my students and everything. That's why I teach doing standalones in series, and you can get the readers really involved in the world, like you said, with like similar characters or similar tropes or whatever. Um, but yeah, that's awesome. And then also, like, again, and it wasn't a failure that when you did the cliffhanger, it just was like, again, an experience that guided you on the path you needed to be on,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. Okay, so now that you make this income from your ebook publishing, how is your life different now? And so, like, what does your typical day look like? And we were talking recently because you said that you still have not left your job, and that's
Right.
in the come in the cards. It's coming up, but how's your life looking different now?
Well, I did just put in my notice yesterday.
Oh, yay!
And I knew they would ask me to do this. They said, could you stay until we replace you? And I said, that's fine. So it'll probably be through the end of the year, because it's obviously not hiring season.
Hmm.
And that's perfectly fine. I don't mind doing that. But so that's like it's crazy and it's exciting. And, but now, like, so one of the things I think that I've implemented because of you and what what you taught us in the program was I really like to start my day with like 15 or 20 minutes to just set my mindset. It really allows
Mm,
me to, because no matter how much success you're going to have negative thoughts. So it's great to kind of push those aside and turn them around instead of coming
mhm.
at it from like a mindset of lack, just thinking and living as if things have already happened. And so I just take that 15, 20 minutes. I write in my journal. I listen to like something meditative and just kind
Cool.
of set my intentions for the day and remind myself why I'm doing this, which has
Awesome.
been amazing. And, it's helped my mood so much. I
Yeah.
swear. It's like I sleep better and I interact. I don't let
Yes.
little things get to me as much. But one way that my life has changed is I was just able to take my sister to Europe for 2 weeks,
Oh my
and
God,
she's like
amazing.
this overworked nurse who just hadn't had a vacation in like 5 years, and I've always wanted to be able to do something like that for her.
Oh, I love that. That's so
So
great.
yeah, and it just made me feel good that she wasn't stressed about, oh, I have to pay you back, and I was like, nope. And I was able to pay off my car, and then I had this credit card that I paid off, and I'm like it's just so great to get rid of those stress factors in my life. And
Mm,
now I'm saving up to donate to buy land for this animal sanctuary, and it's
oh my God,
so cool
awesome.
that I can like, it's not obviously it's great to like have security and pay things off, but it's so cool to be like, oh, I can use this money to give back and help
To
others.
contribute. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's been
That's
really cool.
oh, that's wonderful. All right. So my next and final question, what are the top three things that you think have contributed most to your success? Whether
Um,
it be like practices you do or whatever, or like, I mean, obviously Facebook ads,
yeah.
huge. But anyhow, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but what are the top three things that have contributed most to your success?
I think honestly, the number one thing that I used to think this was like just okay, whatever, is mindset. Like,
Yes.
oh my goodness, I started working on that in December, right before things turned around for me. Like, I mean, I like rewired my brain to stop being like, the money's not there, the money's not there. And
Mm-hmm.
now I take every opportunity and then to just honestly think and live as if this stuff's already happened. And every day I start my day, like I said, meditating, and I thank the universe for everything that I have and everything that I'm going to have. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just that I feel like has changed my mind so much because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not limited by like the negative things around me anymore.
Yes.
So that was huge. And that's something that you always teach us, like,
Yeah.
know your why. And I didn't know my why at first. I was just like, well, I hate my job. I want to get out of it. But it's so much bigger than that once you start really
Yes,
thinking about like what you want out of life. And I think
totally.
yeah, has just been so beneficial and just amazing for me. The other thing I would say is research and study the top 100 because
Yes.
in Amazon in your category, because you learn so much. Like I remember like talking to you over and over again about blurs. Like I was like, I don't get it. Like, like I don't understand what the problem is. Why isn't this going to sell well?
Mm,
And just studying those and looking at the covers and the blurs and the themes and just taking the time to really invest that energy back into your business is so important because you can pour a bunch of money into ads, but if it's a mediocre product or it's not an
mhm.
all eye catching, not intriguing, you're wasting your money. You may make some
Absolutely.
money on it, but it's like you could be making so much more.
Yeah. That
So
foundation's
yeah,
so key. It's so important to have the
yes,
foundation before you start. Like you said, you can run ads to anything. And even if the ads are done well, if the product you're trying to promote, the book you're trying to promote is not appealing on the product page, or,
right.
it's not well written, once people start reading it, it's not going to be a good result.
Right. It's so true. And I just couldn't understand that before. And I think the third thing would honestly be invest in your business. Like,
Mm,
I was 100% one of those people that wanted to spend the least amount of money and make the most profit. And I'm all for great profit margins. I'm continually trying to get better at that with Facebook ads. But you have to invest in a good editor and a good cover. Know where your strong points are not. That made no
mhm.
sense. Know
I
where
know
you're
what you're saying.
lacking.
Yeah.
Know where you're lacking and
Yeah.
outsource that. Like hire somebody to do those things for you, because it may be a lot of money up front, but it makes a world of difference. I've literally taken a book with like a mediocre cover. All I did was change the cover and it tripled in sales. And I'm not exaggerating.
Amazing.
So like,
Yeah.
invest in that. Designers, editors, your Facebook ads, like really, take the time and the money to put it back in your business, because you want to deliver like a quality product to people. I try to put myself in the reader's position, and I'm like, if I'm asking $3.99 for a book, I think about what I want to spend $3.99, what kind of book I want to spend $3.99 on. I don't want something that's just, flung together. I want something that someone actually took the time and energy.
Yeah.
So just and being like genuine about that. So I think that those are probably the three things that have really helped me out, have helped me,
Awesome.
change my business and my mindset about just the whole practice in general, and kind of like what I want to get out of it.
Absolutely. And I think your clarity, like you said, your clarity about what you want your life to look like that is absolutely the first step. Because if you're just like, oh, I just want to make more money, like that isn't deep enough and is not going to be as like compelling enough for you to continue to take action towards something you want to create, right? So
Yeah.
that I love how you're so grounded in mindset, and it's become like a daily practice. Because as soon as, if you, like you do, when you start your day being like, this is who I am, this is my life, this is what I'm creating, and you're in alignment with that, then your brain, even like there is a physiological component to this, like the reticular activation system, that your brain is going to highlight for you things that are in your like periphery, like in your kind of realm of attention. Your brain is going to highlight for you things that are in alignment with what you're already focusing on. So then it's going to make things gain momentum, and you're going to be able to have more clarity about what choices to make and what paths to take and everything. And it sounds so simple. Sometimes the people are like, oh, whatever, meditating. It's like, no, really, try it.
I know.
Get some clarity, like get some stillness in your life and see what happens.
I used to be one of those people, and now I'm like, I preach it like it's gospel. I'm like, guys, I'm serious.
Yes.
And be specific about those goals. I mean,
yeah.
I remember literally every single day I would write over and over again, I am so grateful and thankful now that I'm making $10,000 a month.
Love
I was
it.
so specific. And then when I reached it, new goal. And
Yep.
I'm like, you can't outgrow that in success.
Totally. Yes. Keep
So
expanding, right? And like being like, thank you, I'm so grateful and ready for more. Right? Just like keep on rolling with the momentum. Yeah. This was so awesome talking to you. It was so great. And I'm really excited to announce to everyone that with my Fiction Profits Academy program going forward, Rachel is going to be on board with helping out with the teaching. She's going to be teaching the Facebook ads component to the program. She's right in the trenches all the time with ads, and it's been a major part of success in her business. So she is going to be doing the teaching around Facebook ads, which is going to be wonderful. And I'm so excited for everyone to learn from her and to continue to grow your business. So definitely, if you're interested, grab again the blueprint below, the book idea to bestseller blueprint. That'll get you on my email list. You'll get the free training, and you'll get information about the program that we offer and our next group coaching sessions, because we're going to be doing group coaching sessions from now on. Our first one's going to be starting this month, and we'll keep you updated on all those. So again, thank you so much, Rachel. It was so awesome talking to you. And we'll talk again soon, I'm sure.
Yes. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it so much. And, just for being that guiding light that I needed in my life. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so proud of you, and you're truly inspirational. Thanks.
Bye.